Howdy folks, Brother Jim reporting here at End Times Prophecy News. Boom! Last night, Rudy drops another bomb on Joe Biden. Reveals today's Ukrainian Parliament news. Burisma Holdings paid Joe Biden $900,000 for lobbying activities. Christina Leila reported on this development earlier today. Burisma Holdings paid Joe Biden $900,000 for lobbying activities. Former Vice President Joe Biden was personally paid $900,000 for lobbying activities from Burisma Holdings, according to Ukrainian military police Andriy Durkok. Durkok publicized the documents at a press conference at the Interfax Ukraine agency Wednesday, as he said the records described the mechanism of getting money by Biden Sr. And the second part of this one will be the same one, but it's the same story basically under Gateway Pundit, but there's more information. So this was the transfer of Burisma Group's funds for lobbying activities, as investigators believe, personally to Joe Biden through a lobbying company. Funds in the amount of $900,000 were transferred to the U.S.-based company Rosemont Seneca Partners, which, according to open sources, in particular the New York Times, is affiliated with Biden. The payment reference was payment for consultative services, Durkok said. Now, I just want to throw something out there. This is a power company, Burisma Holdings. PG&E in California is a power company. This was Ukrainian's largest. All right, back to the story. Via Interfax at press conference at the Interfax Ukraine agency on Wednesday, he made public the documents received from investigative journalists, including correspondence between NABU officers and representatives of diplomatic missions of foreign states in the framework of criminal proceedings opened under Article 3 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, high treason. In particular, the documents that the deputy possesses indicates that Uglava, through his assistant, Polina Chis, forgive me for pronunciation, gave information to the U.S. Embassy, which he said is an important part of the puzzle of interference in U.S. elections and international corruption. Joe Biden's drug addict son, Hunter, was sitting on the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian natural gas company, and being paid by some accounts over $200,000 a month, even though he had zero experience in the field. This is above and beyond the $1.5 billion from China and above the $900,000. Then Vice President Joe Biden, who was tasked to oversee U.S. dealings with Ukraine, threatened to withhold over $1 billion in loan guarantees to Ukraine unless they fired Viktor Shokin, the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating Burisma and Hunter. Biden bragged about shaking down Ukraine and getting Mr. Shokin fired, just like a mafia thug does, don't they? During a 2018 speech to a council on foreign relations. But mafia thugs don't brag about what they do out in public, do they? No. Because Biden is a complete idiot. On Wednesday night, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani revealed this news on Hannity. Rudy broke the story, telling Sean Hannity that Joe Biden's news was all over the Ukrainian press today, but that the U.S. liberal media has completely ignored this bombshell. It seems American people don't know what's going on in other countries about the corrupt Democrats in our government, huh? So let's see what's new over here on the second part of the story from Gateway Pundit. According to the documents, Burisma paid no less than $16.5 million to former Polish president, who became an independent director at Burisma Holdings in 2014. Alexander Kwasniewski, chairman of the Burisma Board of Independent Director, Alan Apter, Burisma Independent Director, and Devon Archer and Hunter Biden, who joined the Burisma Board of Directors in 2014, Durkok said. quote, using political and economic levelers of influencing Ukrainian authorities and manipulating the issue of providing financial aid to Ukraine, Joe Biden actively assisted closing criminal cases into the activity of former Ukrainian ecology minister Mykola Zlochevsky, who is the founder and owner of the Burisma group. He said Biden's 5th visit to Kyiv on December 7th through 8, 2015, was devoted to making a decision on the resignation of then Ukrainian Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin over the case of Zlochevsky and Burisma. Loan guarantees worth $1 billion that the United States was to give to the Ukraine was the point of pressure. Biden himself admitted exerting pressure in his speech at the Council of Foreign Relations in January 2018, calling Shokin son of a bitch who was fired, Durkock said. Wow. Now, we just reported how Trump says all this stuff is coming down on Biden, and that was late yesterday. And Giuliani dropped this bomb, and Giuliani's Trump's attorney. So you know that Trump knows about all this before we ever heard it from Giuliani on Fox Hannity News. You see why Trump is right? Of course he gets the news first. Joe Biden's drug addict son Hunter was sitting on the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian natural gas company, and being paid by some accounts over $200K a month, even though he has zero experience in the field. We already heard this. New documents unearthed by award-winning investigative reporter John Solomon destroyed the Democrat narrative that Trump strong-armed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The new documents show that Ukraine was reopening the investigation into Burisma and the crooked Bidens back in February before Zelensky was elected president. Oh, we got some more breaking news. Let me find it here. There it is. Zelensky just doubled down and says President Trump did not pressure him on Burisma. It just came in, folks. Just came in. Zelensky is backing up Trump 100%. In a normal world, this would end the Democrat Party's hoax investigation. President Zelensky doubled down on Thursday, telling reporters there was no blackmail and adding that I had no idea the military aid was held up. It wasn't in the conversation between Zelensky and Trump. Remember? If you go back and listen to it, there was nothing. There's nothing in the conversation. It's all a fabrication by the Dem impeachment inquiry. That's all illegitimate, isn't it? So here you have Zelensky doubling down. Why is he doubling down on this? He's already said it once. Because he knows that Dems are trying to take him down in this country. He knows it's a coup d'etat as well. But there's many Democrats in this nation who have no clue as to what is going on, do they? I'm sorry, but it's amazing, huh? There was no blackmail, Mr. Zelensky said during a press conference on Thursday from Trump. I had no idea the military aid was held up. The issue of whether Mr. Trump offered Mr. Zelensky a quid pro quo, U.S. military support in exchange for investigation into former Vice President Joe Biden in Ukraine, which the mainstream media keeps saying day after day after day. They keep saying this lie right here, is one of the main focuses of an impeachment inquiry underway in Washington. That's right. It never stops, does it?
Here we go. Ukraine's president doubling down overnight, saying that President Trump did not pressure him to investigate Joe Biden.
Okay, this as the former vice president speaks out about his son's business dealings in Ukraine.
Oh, really? Well, Kevin Cork joins us live from the White House. And Kevin, the president's lawyer, says he's got some new evidence tied to this whole controversy. Good morning to you.
Yeah, boy, he has been super busy on this. We've been watching slowly as he talks about one country after another after another. As for the president of Ukraine, strong pushback pushback, quite frankly, yesterday from the president of Ukraine. He was trying to characterize that conversation with President Trump as not the way it's been characterized in some circles back here in the USA. He said the phone call was fine. He also talked about this idea of blackmail. He said this, and again, this is a bit of a loose translation that we have gotten from his comments yesterday. There was no blackmail. I didn't check if American and our versions match, but I think they match, talking about
Well, why are you calling it a loose translation?
the versions of the story, but I didn't check it. I'm not going to lie, we never talked about Burisma before. Speaking of Burisma, of course, that has to do with Hunter Biden, as for the former vice president, his dad, Joe Biden, was out on the campaign trail yesterday talking about a number of things. He accused the president of doing, well...
Anyway, I'll let you listen to the rest of it, but the point here is that I already reported that the fact was that there was an investigation going on in Ukraine's government on Hunter Biden and Burisma way back in January of 2019 is when it started. Before Zelensky became president. That's right. Why do you think they never talked about it between him and Trump? You see what's going on here? It was already there. This is all a fabrication of pencil neck Adam Schiff, the big fat liar that never stops lying, along with Nancy Pelosi and the fake impeachment inquiry, and many, many others. Joe Biden, pencil neck, Nancy Pelosi, all worked with. Also, Michael Atkinson worked in this Ukraine scandal, and there's going to be a lot more coming out on this. There's going to be big rumblings coming out, folks. A lot more of the yarn ball is starting to really unravel fast now. Thank you for listening, and may the Lord bless.